Assalamu alaikum. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. But can I welcome you all here to Parliament tonight? And for me, it's a real privilege to also welcome the new High Commissioner of Pakistan. His Excellency Syed Ibn Abbas, and diplomats from the Kuwaiti and the Saudi embassy here in London. Members from all sections of the Pakistani community and the Pakistani media. You all know who I am. I'm Rahman Chisti, the Member of Parliament for Gillingham and Rainham, and your host for tonight. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is an opportunity for parliamentary colleagues to say a vote of thanks to Wajid Shamsul Hasan, the former High Commissioner of Pakistan to the United Kingdom, who has given distinct service as High Commissioner to the United Kingdom. Wajid has had an illustrious career, both as a journalist and as a diplomat. He started as a journalist, committed to democracy, human rights, empowerment of women, minorities, and the less privileged. He was an advisor to Muhtarama Shahid Benazir Bhutto for nearly 35 years, in which he knew her. She chose him personally to be Pakistan's High Commissioner to the United Kingdom in 1994. He's had the distinction of serving Pakistan twice as High Commissioner, in total 9 years in 2 stints. During both his tenures, Pakistan-UK relations have become matchless. He has contributed immensely in getting the Pakistani community to integrate in all levels of our society here in the United Kingdom. He has developed close cooperation between the United Kingdom and Pakistan at all levels, both public and government. Despite global economic crunch, Pakistan-UK trade and investment ties have improved immensely. Whilst Wajid was High Commissioner, £650 million was committed by the United Kingdom for education in Pakistan. He had the best of relations with the previous and present governments, as manifested in the cross-party support that we have with members of Parliament from all political parties here tonight. And whilst he was High Commissioner, economic and cultural roadmaps have been the hallmark of relations between our two countries. And as High Commissioner, Wajid maintained excellent relations with members of Parliament and has done a great deal in getting British parliamentarians and their counterparts in Pakistan to know each other and benefit through experience and cooperation. And in my conclusion, he's had the privilege to serve Pakistan under 5 prime ministers and 3 presidents, having done 3 years as High Commissioner under former Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto from 1994 to 1996. He was acknowledged for his service and the distinct nature in which he served Pakistan, because he was asked by the current Prime Minister of Pakistan, Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, to carry on when in fact High Commissioner Hasan had resigned in June the 5th, 2013, but to show his high regard and what he had done in building those relationships between Pakistan and the United Kingdom, he was asked to continue, and he did, and therefore in his 2 tenures he has served here in the United Kingdom and building relationships when we've had Prime Minister John Major, Gordon Brown and David Cameron. So from that brief introduction, which I had to rush through because of the timing, because we have a vote at 7 o'clock tonight, it would be fair to conclude that he's had an outstanding term in office in his 9 years as High Commissioner to the United Kingdom. Without further ado, I'm going to ask Dominic Grieve, the former Attorney General, to say a few words.
In my time in Parliament, it's been one of my great pleasures to develop links with the Pakistani community in Britain and also with Pakistan itself, having visited it. But I have to say that your arrival in your latest tenure has been, I think, a moment of huge opportunity, which you took and seized in developing British-Pakistani relations.
Thank you and farewell, Your Excellency. Ray has summarised your many achievements extremely well. I represent a constituency near Birmingham. We have approximately 2,000 members of the Pakistani diaspora, who it's my pleasure and honour to represent, and they hold the High Commission and your work in very high regard. It's extremely important to them, and I'm therefore very delighted to be here on their behalf, as well as my own, to thank you for your service to Pakistani-Anglo relations.
When you came back for a second term, I had hopes that you might outdo His Excellency the Ambassador of Kuwait and become doyen of the court, because it looked as though you were well set in. And I was very fortunate when John Major sent me to the Foreign Office. One of the areas I looked after was South Asia, and I found you as High Commissioner to Pakistan. And you were incredibly helpful to me when I visited Pakistan on a number of occasions in that capacity, and indeed one of the most enjoyable times of my being a Minister in the Foreign Office was taking a trade mission to Pakistan, the highlight of which was going with people such as Anwar Pervez and many others up the Khyber Pass in a steam train, something which I don't think one can do now. However, I have to report that one of the trickiest moments in my life you were responsible for. But I was very fortunate for a while that Zulfikar, your exalted, very bright and very good son, was my research assistant here in the House of Commons. And so very kindly he invited me to his wedding. And at the wedding reception I looked at the plasmon and I found myself thinking, I'm sure this is right, I may have got amnesia about it, it was such a tricky occasion, finding myself sitting between Benazir on the one hand and the Washmi's brother on the other. And that was an interesting experience. But, I survived. And anyway, you have done great service, not just to Pakistan, but also to us here in the UK, in building UK-Pakistan relations. We will miss you, and we hope, and we will want to remain good friends with you, and I'm sure that you will remain good friends with us, and it has been a privilege to know you over so many years.
Wajid, I think the overwhelming sense that comes through is one of friendship. Yes, you have held formal roles, as we have, but the friendship and the personal relationship has always seemed to go beyond those roles, and that so many people have spoken in the same vein is of great importance. I loved doing the job for a couple of years. As you know very well, and others know in the room, I come from a part of the country where the Pakistan community was an important part of my background in Bury, the Kashmiri community there. There are many friends here. And to be able to take that into a role as government minister was especially a pleasure. I'm sorry Tony's gone. He gave me my first visit to Pakistan when I was the MP for Bury, and I was able to go all those years ago. I too went on a train from Peshawar to Rawalpindi, and you probably wouldn't do that now either. But it was a wonderful time. But while we have been together, while I've been the minister, your counsel in relation to some of the more difficult things we had to do, particularly in terms of security matters, which concerned William Hague and myself very much as we handled those issues. Your wise counsel, your experience, your friendship, your contacts made our job so much easier.
In official capacities, when I was Immigration Minister, as everyone will understand, there were a lot of really important and really difficult issues that could have soured relations between our two countries and didn't over immigration at all. And the work you put in as High Commissioner ensured that all these difficult issues could be dealt with in a sensible and civilised manner, and that the great improvement in the relations between our two countries could be maintained. I can't match Alistair's gift story, but I can say that one of the things I most look forward to were the regular delivery of mangoes that came from your office. I'm happy to report that, unlike Alistair, they are not still sitting in my office, but they have been consumed many times.
I shall miss Wajid very much indeed, not only for the superb work that he has done as High Commissioner, but also because of our great personal friendship over the years, which I have valued very much. I shall miss the lunches that we used to have, and I shall miss his visits to Manchester. He has not only been quite exceptionally outstanding representative of his country in Britain, but he has been very much wider in that, in the personal contacts that he has maintained over the years. And while I have no doubt, if I may be so pertinent to say so, that I shall continue to be invited to social events at the Pakistan High Commission, I don't know whether my departure will always be in the High Commissioner's car, as it has been. I value him very, very much indeed as a diplomat who has created and strengthened such links between our two countries. I'm sure that he will go on playing a very, very important part. I welcome the new High Commissioner, and I say the most reluctant farewell to the High Commissioner who is leaving.
As High Commissioner, you have played an exceptional role in bringing parliamentarians together. Parliamentarians from Pakistan, British parliamentarians. We've had several former ministers here who have talked about your relationship with the British government under both political parties. But as parliamentarians, I think I would like to just say on behalf of my backbench colleagues that we have felt very much engaged by your willingness to speak to backbenchers, your willingness to attend meetings, not just here, but all far north in Manchester, and the numerous trips you have made across the country to see parliamentarians, to see British Pakistanis living across the UK. So I think you've really played a pioneering role in your work across the country. I think particularly your legacy on bringing further investment into Pakistan, in some of the work that you've done on trade, has been incredibly important to the future links between our two countries. And I was very pleased to meet your successor last Friday when he was in the building. He seemed a very impressive gentleman to take over from yourself, but I would echo what Sir Gerald said in that we are very sad to see you go.
Wajid Saab has been a huge pillar of support and trusted friend, certainly of Benazir Bhutto, for a long time, and every time I met her, even before and certainly when I became a Member of Parliament, wherever she was, wherever we had a meeting, he was always there, whether it was in this country or whether it was in Dubai. That just showed the closeness and the loyalty that he had. And I suppose to seek loyalty amongst one must be the highest rank that one could search for in a friend, and he's certainly shown that. But more importantly, as a High Commissioner in this city and the country, he was accessible to all. He was able to come and discuss some very difficult issues at times within our communities, within our cities. As it's already been said, right across from the north, Birmingham's halfway through that, but very privileged to be able to have it. To hear the views that he had to have and to make, and explain to the people the issues perhaps sometimes they were not overly confident about. And that is the role, I think, of somebody who represents Pakistan as a nation in this country.
I did mention public service. I'm a strong believer in public service and the contribution that people make through public service, and it's much derided nowadays, and we've been just talking about the recall bill, and really much of the focus of the bill is about the lack of trust, mistrust in politicians now needing to do things because of that lack of trust, which is a great shame, because in my experience of 30 odd years in public service, the vast majority of people that I have come across have been in public service out of a sense of responsibility and duty towards the community, and I know that's something you have been involved in, and your attitude over many, many years. So thank you very much for all you've done for your community, and welcome here tonight.
Sir, I am grateful to you for doing a great job that you did for 6 years, and we are really grateful for all you did during your distinguished career of 6 years this time and previous as well. And all the good things you have sort of done during these 2 tenures, I intend to build upon those, and particularly my first and topmost priority would be diaspora. We'd like to, build more connections with the diaspora, as well as to build ties with the host government here. And of course, as it was said, that during your tenure, that our trade has hit the 2 billion mark, which is an excellent tribute to you yourself. That because of your good efforts, our political relationship, which has been so good, has translated into real commercial, mutually beneficial relations. So with this, I would say that you have had a good innings, sir. Enjoy your retirement, and don't forget to write your memoirs, because we will definitely look forward to your wisdom and guidance, which you have been giving to my colleagues in the High Commission. But I will be personally seeking your advice and guidance, of course, because there's no shortcut to experience, and you are very experienced. So we'll be looking forward to your advice, guidance, and happy retirement. Thank you very much.
What you have done as High Commissioner, I've did in my intros, you have been outstanding in every way, shape and form, and I look forward to working with you. So can I just ask you to share your words with colleagues here tonight?
Thank you very much. Friends, members of Parliament, those who have gone, I'm grateful to them for having come here. New High Commissioner, His Excellency Ibn Abbas. Well, I did 2 stints here as High Commissioner for almost 9 years. I spent a lot of time networking, meeting the media. And there was a time when my sole job was firefighting, because there was Memogate, there was Mumbai, name anything, it was there, and we were there all involved in it. But we really managed it well, through my colleagues and everybody who supported me, especially my community, Pakistani community diaspora. They have been extending extremely fantastic support to me, very affectionate, supportive, and I've had the unique experience of serving 5 Prime Ministers in Pakistan and 3 Prime Ministers here, starting from John Major onwards. And I found ready cooperation with them. They really helped me in build up relationships. And when I came here, I was not a diplomat from Foreign Office, I was a journalist who was thrown in a world which I had not known. And yet, I found that probably humor, he called it, I think it was my uncanny attitude towards various things that made me, acceptable to FCO and the officers, like our great friend, Sir Adam Thompson. We really became very good friends in FCO. And despite that, I must say that we have had excellent relationship. Our trade has grown, our cooperation in counterintelligence, fighting terrorism has made tremendous progress, and we are still at it. And our armed forces are in the forefront of this war against terrorism. And we value the same sort of high idealism that you have here, and we feel that Pakistan has got to revert back to Mr. Jinnah's dream of making Pakistan secular, liberal and progressive, a democracy that he had visioned. Unfortunately, we had a lot of periods in between in which democracy was waylaid, and we ended up in sort of extra constitutional interventions which really retarded our progress. But once again, I must say that I have a unique experience of serving a government that ensured that democratic power is transferred peacefully, respectfully, and with dignity, and that is one after 2008 elections. PPP came in power, and subsequently Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif came into power. Transition was perfect. It was all because of the national reconciliation enunciated by Mohtarama Benazir Bhutto Shaheed that we all followed, and that perhaps was the reason. I must tell you one thing. One day, I was not welcomed in Pakistan High Commission for a long time, although I had been High Commissioner. One day my immediate former colleague, Malia Lodhi, rang me up, Dr. Malia Lodhi. I was surprised to get a call. And she said, I want to launch a book. Will you allow me at Pakistan High Commission? I said, yes. But I said, do you remember the days when you didn't allow me to come to Pakistan High Commission? Well, those times are over. And the presence of present High Commissioner is manifested in that sort of reconciliation that we are ushering in Pakistan. Ladies and gentlemen, I also am grateful to many journalists who are here, and many more would have come, but I don't know, it was short notice. And they have all been supporting me and very, they're going out of the way to help me out in various issues that were confronted by Pakistan. And there were many, I can't recount them now. But I can tell you that I have never, I can say very, I came here in 1968 for a course in journalism. And I lived at that time about a year, and after that I have been coming here. My longest stay has been since 1994 up till now, 20 years almost. A lot of people talk a lot of things, racism, ethnicity, narrow-mindedness, but I can tell you, and I have no fear or no other consideration, but to tell you this, that this is one of the most tolerant country in the world, where you see in every walk of life, people from various countries, various regions, various nationalities, ethnicities, every sort of person is here doing his work in non-interfered, with total freedom. And that is what has made this society great. And that is what I think Mr. Jinnah, when he established Pakistan, he mentioned that I have got my 4 pillars, and one is democracy, the other is governance, religious-free governance, and also total freedom and constitutional rule of law. All these things put together have made our country very resilient and our people very strong in belief, and that's why you see democracy come and get back every now and then. We have had various other, we have improved trade, and I can say a lot about trade, but I must tell you that I have had very, I must say, best of cooperation for 2 governments that we have had in the last 6 years, the Labour Party and the Conservative Party. And our main cause at the time was to seek GSP Plus from the EU. And I can tell you that we got from both the governments totally unqualified support. Their MEPs really waged a sort of crusade in the EU Parliament to get us that GSP Plus. And today we have got GSP Plus, and our trades to EU have increased by 18%. So you can imagine how much Britain has played part, not only in economic development, but also in the fostering of democracy. There was a time when we were struggling hard, and yet British government, British leadership, Gerald Kaufman was chairman of Benazir Release Committee at one time. So all these things we have seen. Lastly, I must say that we need to, I must say that we have got so much of representation now in the British Parliament. How many MPs? 6? 5?
Average.
Today 8, yeah. Today there has been another new entrant, Noshina Mubarak, in the House of Lords. She's an enterprising woman. An acknowledgement. These are simple acknowledgement of the contribution Pakistanis have made to British society. And that is what we need to appreciate. We have got 300 councillors and mayors. We have got everywhere, in every walk of life, we have great people, very enthusiastic people, very hard-working people. And I'm sure there are a lot of people in media as well, besides our own media here, which is very powerful and very strong and very progressive. I think I've said enough, and I wouldn't like to bore you any further. With much ado, I would say thank you very much. Ray, you have overwhelmed me by your gesture of holding this vote of confidence. I wouldn't call it retirement, because a journalist never retires. Number 2, I'm living here, so I'm not going to go back anywhere. So you can always meet me, we can always talk with each other, network, and carry on the good work that we have been doing in the past, especially you have as a member. I remember Ray was, I think, a very young councillor once in 1990.
Yes.
1990. Then he became a candidate. And he made his mark, and I must tell you, in a constituency where one could not say that you had 20% Pakistani votes. It was entirely indigenous vote. And he made, he gave tough time to a seasoned politicians, and then of course he became a Conservative Party candidate for the Gillingham and constituency. And I remember how historic a question that must be when Benazir Bhutto directly from America, we had invited her, Benazir Bhutto directly flying from America, came here and she said, have you forgotten we have got to go to Ray's constituency? He was holding a function. I never expected that the person who has traveled 10 hours, she will take the journey, he shouldn't go back to sleep. But she took the journey and she made a very nice speech that day. So Ray, you are a real privileged person. Benazir Bhutto has spoken about you everywhere. And we are, as Pakistani, I am very proud of you, and I'm sure all Pakistanis are. And as I know how much important you are to Conservative Party as well, I know how much they have really worked for you, how much they support you, and I wish you best of luck in future as well. And Basa, I'm all there for you. If you think old is gold, then you will find it difficult to find any.
All is red gold.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.